Okay, so hi everybody. Um, my name is Peggy, and I'm the customer success manager at Quire. And I will be starting the webinar right now. So if any of you cannot hear me clearly, you can let us know in the chat uh, right now, and I will check if there's any problem. Okay. So thank you guys for joining us for today. Before we get started, just a few quick things to keep in mind. We will keep everyone's on mute during the entire webinar, and the whole session is being recorded right now so that we can send it over to you once it's over. So Um, the first question is, how are you today? I am based in Taipei, Taiwan. Right now it's very cold. So how's the weather in your area? Let us know in the chat. And yeah, it's also currently 11 at night for us. So if you catch me like stumble, just please pretend it didn't happen. Okay, so just a heads up on how to navigate Teams when we get into the webinar later on. So if you have any questions during the webinar, you can drop them in the chat. And if you're using a browser, the chat is located in the upper menu bar. And if you're tuning in using your phone, you can look for the chat in the More Options menu, I believe, down below. And I also have another Quire Team member, Vicky, here with me. She will be online helping me answer other questions during the webinar. And I will save around 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the webinar to answer all the questions that you might have. Okay. So for today's webinar, we will be chatting about how you can make your workflow super smooth and amp up your collaboration with your team using Quire. And I will be sharing a real setup that is being used by our Quire marketing team. And hopefully it will inspire your own setup in Quire. So here's the agenda for today. And first up, I will go with a quick introduction for the first time users who just joined Quire. I will go through very quickly about the basics and show you how Quire can help you with your productivity. And then I will move on to our main event for today, which is how we're tackling the challenges that Quire marketing team is facing right now, and share how we use Quire to solve these problems. And then next, I will switch to my Quire workspace, and I will guide you through the steps on how we set up the project inside Quire, and also share some tips along the way. And I will wrap up at the end with some key takeaways and save some time for the Q&A. So again, if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to let us know in the chat. Okay, so a quick check-in before we start. So drop your reply in the chat to let us know how familiar you are with Quire, and have you ever tried out our Quire table view before or our new feature custom fields before. You can let us know in the chat, and your reply will help us gain more information on how we can shape our future webinar content. So please leave the answers in the chat. Okay. So I'll move on to the first part of today's session, which is a quick introduction to Quire. Okay, so what's Quire all about? Quire is a project management tool software. So if you're on a lookout for a software to help you corral all your tasks into one spot, Quire is what you're looking for. And designed with businesses and teams collaborations in mind, Quire is here to help you tackle your day-to-day work tasks. So both team managers and team members can get a real-time view on your project's progress. So whether you're working in your office or working from home, Quire can help you Quire can keep you in the loop on your team's progress. Okay, so here are some key features that Quire brings to the table. So in the beginning, we built our nested task list. So it's not your average to-do list that you see out there. You can use this task list to add unlimited levels of tasks and subtasks in your project, and it will give you more like details and context, especially if you're handling very complicated or intricate projects. So later on, we realized that one list is not enough. So we built something called a sublist. So this is good and handy for your single and complicated or very mega project. And you can pick out the most important tasks from that main list and put it in the sublist and focus on the things for that time being. So even more, for the same project that you have, aside from the main list that I mentioned, you can get very visual with the board view, and which can help you visualize your work in progress. And then you can also switch things up to your table view and timeline view, and also a calendar view. And lastly, we also have our native time tracker. This is incorporated into Quire, so you don't need to like switch to another app to manage time spent on each task. So for today's spotlight, I will be zooming in on three key views, which is the table view, sublists, and our board view. I will go into the details later on when I switch to my Quire workspace later. But for now, these three views is what we're going to be talking about and focusing on. So for our primary goal for today, I will center on how we leverage Quire's table view custom fields and also sublist to help us smoothen our workflow for the Quire marketing team, and how we use them to foster the collaboration among our team members. So we created a Quire marketing project to help us like provide a centralized space for all the members, so they can locate their own assignments and monitor their own progress collectively. So this approach, this method allows us to track the performance of our social media campaigns and all that other marketing stuff inside Quire, and to help us identify and address potential roadblocks as a whole team. Okay, so before I go into all the how we use Quire's project to for details, I will share some essential steps that we tackle as a team each week. So we normally kick off with our weekly meetings, whether it's online or in person. So after that meeting, the real thing begins. We need a place to organize and prioritize the things that we just discussed, giving them a home. So some members will need to start like craft their own promotional content, or handling everything from their website updates to landing pages and all that other marketing stuff. And at the same time, maybe other members will need to focus on like curating like their social media content. So once all these tasks like are up and running, for the final step, we will need to backtrack and examine the results of our efforts. So other than the tasks that I mentioned earlier, we also got a part of our project that we normally farm out to people outside of our core team. We have our freelance writer, Oliver, who help us craft blog posts, and also our illustrator, Kathy. She helps us with our pretty illustrations. So you can probably sense that this is pretty chaotic we have a potential chaos and stress that comes from managing a project like this. So managing a project like this, we have and had our fair share of challenges. So first up, there were no centralized place for ideas and brainstorming. So a lot of information that we discussed in meetings were scattered all over the place. So like in emails or in notes or on pieces of papers. And we didn't have like a centralized place for all these ideas. And we also had no clue on our ongoing statuses and team updates. So this slowed our like work progress big time, and we were constantly trying to sync up in meetings and online chat groups. Okay, so these were the major like challenges that we faced as a team, and the ones that were slowing us down. That's why we built this setup, the setup that I will be talking about later on in Quire over time. And you can let us know in the chat what are some challenges that you face yourself in organizing or managing any projects. So, or anything that if we missed in this list. Okay. So how Quire helped us, how our project helped us is that first we used our table view to fix the whole like no centralized place dilemma. And you can see that we use this view to tuck all our marketing tasks and ideas into one project. And we also added custom fields to give, with one look, you can see all the details in one single view. And then we brought in the sublist and Kanban board view with using also the advanced filters, the two-level filters. It helped us tackle the issue of not being able to see what the team was up to. And we used the sublist to zoom in on a specific area of our marketing work. So for example, if we're working on a website page, we're using a sublist for that. And then we use the filter bar to group tasks by assignees. So this way we can see like which each team member's workload and due dates like crystal clear. And last, we used our assignees and dates and priorities for each task. So the members in charge of those tasks, they can see all the details in one spot. So they don't need to like go hunt down details in different places. And we also added, again, the custom fields for those special details that keep appearing up. And this way, the table view and the detail panel can like turn into a place for our key information. Okay. So I guess now I will like switch to my Quire workspace and give you like a first-hand look on how your project can look like in real life. And I will share some tips along the way. So for now, if there are any questions, you can let us know in the chat during the switch. So if there's no questions, I will go ahead and continue with my demonstration for now. So right now on the screen, you will see a project, a Quire project right now. And as you can see right now, this is a project that we have set up for the Quire marketing project. So if you're new and if you have just created a project on your own, you can definitely change the name and that suits your work. But for this, for my example, this is for the Quire marketing team. So if you're new, again, to create a project is really simple. You can find all the features up here in the plus up button up here, right here. And then you can go ahead and add a new project right here. So currently you can see that I am in the table view. I'm navigating in the table view. So if you created a brand new project, you will find yourself not in this view, but in a list view as the default setting. But if you want to switch over to the table view and see this kind of view, you can go ahead over here on the top. All of our views are available right here. So the third icon is stands for the table view. And you can see right now this project is working as our central hub and the backlog, which house all of our marketing tasks and content ideas for the team. And you can also notice that there are sections that we built. This helps us to give our list a little bit of structure. It also helps us categorize tasks into neat blocks like this. So as the list grows over time, it will still be easy for us to find a task within their designated sections like this. So creating a section is also very easy. Again, you can find the function in the plus icon right here in the corner. You can go ahead and add a new section like this. Or you can, again, go to the add icon right here again and add a task first. So for example, I'm adding a task called blog, and then I can use the context menu to turn this into a section like this. Of course, there's a keyboard shortcut in it. For this feature, you can find it in the context menu as well. So I will be showing you that right now. So after that section is created, you can just press enter, and then you can go ahead and type in your first task like this, and enter again to type in your second task. So you can build out your task list like this under each sections. Okay. And then you can see that in this project, we also have our colorful tags right here for each task. These are actually custom fields that we built. So custom fields are what you defined fields that can add to tasks for additional information. So in this project, you can see that we added custom fields to, for example, for areas where we tag our tasks with their categories. So whether it's related to websites or, for example, social media content or any other like newsletters and so on, we can tag it to the task right here. And also, we also added another custom fields for images references. This is useful because we can get a quick preview on how our landing pages or our social media will look like without going into the detail panel. So you don't have to go into here. You can just click on the image that you attach to that custom fields and see how that landing page or any other content look like. So this is a handy tip. Okay, so to create a custom fields, you can click on the plus icon right here on the edge of the table view, and then go ahead to add a new field right here and give it a name. So there are plenty of different types of custom fields that you can add. But for our team, we are big fans of selections type because it gives us the options to like add more colorful tags to our tasks. And yeah, so our team likes to see colorful things. And another quick tip, if you're using like this project for a central hub for a CRM tool or your customer list, you might find email addresses or users or checkbox. These types of custom fields very useful. Okay. Okay. So another hidden tip is in the table icon right here. So you can double click on the table icon right here, and you'll find row heights. So you can adjust the row heights right here. And if you got like tons of information crammed into one row, actually you can make it larger by going into this feature right here. Okay, so this is super handy. Okay. Again, another tip for the table view is that if your table has a lot of columns, mine doesn't right now, but if you're familiar with Excel or other spreadsheet apps out there, you can find the freeze column feature by clicking on the header, and you can click freeze up to this column to freeze all these columns in one click. So this is another handy feature that we use a lot for our projects. And you might have noticed that over time, maybe your project will grow super fast, and it will like make it a little bit tricky for you to find tasks based on their criteria. But we use this handy filter bar at the top. It helps us, like for instance, pinpoint like tasks that are assigned to a specific team member. So for instance, I can click filter and go into assign to maybe say Bennett, and then it will help me only filter out this task that is assigned to Bennett. Or you can change it to filter by date and then unscheduled. So this way, you can go ahead and give them the dates and schedule them right away. And another quick tip which is hidden in our filter bar again, is you can actually group two options. So here, when you go over into the group options, when you hover over, like for example, assignee, you can click on the plus icon right here. And then let's say I will group by assignee first and then group by date. So for now, I can see like who is nailing their tasks and who might be juggling a little bit too much. So this is our first step into this project, which is to map out all the tasks that our team needs to be doing and gather them in this one project for like tracking. And then for our next step, which is to help us delegate the work for different areas. So for now, if you have any questions, you can let us know in the chat. So if not, or if Vicky is already helping me answer them, I will go ahead into our second step. So our team is using the sublist for each area, as you can see. Right now, I'm in the list view right now, but here for this tab, which is called the website, this is actually a sublist. So our team used sublist for each area. As an example, you can think it as websites or social medias or blog posts for our marketing team. So when you switch to that specific sublist, it will help us like block out all the distractions from the other areas where we like list out in the main list. And you can see that it will help you like zero in on what you need to pay attention at that moment. So again, for all the sublists that you create, you can toggle them between different views that I have mentioned earlier. And all the views options, you can find them in the upper right corner. So another pro tip for creating new sublists is that you can go back to the main list view, and then you can just drag and drop the section that you just created, and then drop them into the add icon right here. So it will automatically add all these tasks into that sublist, and then you can give it a name. So for example, social media, media like this. And then you can decide who you want to share this sublist with. So you can share with all the project members, or you can share with yourself. Then only you will see the sublist, or you can share with external teams. Right now, I'll share them with the project members, and you can go ahead and create. Okay. So another handy feature that we often use with sublists is the thing that I mentioned, external team feature. And normally we will create a sublist and share it with that external team. And then when there's a task that is added to that external team sublist, they will only view the task in that sublist, and they won't be able to access the task back in that entire list. So this is a very pretty smart way if you want to like manage task visibility with members that are outside of your core team. Okay. And then I'll go back to the flexibility of switching between different views for each project. So after our team like break down the to-dos and organize all the stuff inside this table view, we will normally go to our table view, our board view for like a bird eye view for the project and our task progress. So again, to toggle between the different views, you got two ways. The first one is go to these icons right here, or you can use the keyboard shortcut, which is the numbers on your keyboard. So number 2 will bring you to the board view, and number 3 will bring you back to the table view. So in the board view, you can see that our team has already added some custom like status columns, for example, pending and designing. And you can also add your own custom status by hovering over to status right here, and then give it a name and a percentage. So when we will normally ask the team member to, when they are working like on a task, we'll ask him or her to drag the task into that right status column so our whole team can see and keep everything clear for other team members. And again, in this view, we can also leverage the filter bar at the top again. And normally we will use this to group by assignees like this, and it will help us to transform the board into like multiple swing lanes. And we can use this view to like give us a quick peek about our like members' workload. Sorry. And then normally, again, we will like look out for the WIP, which is work in progress limits. We will control the numbers that appear right here on top. So in this in progress status, to make sure that like each member like focus on their current task without moving on to the next one. Okay, so another quick tip for the board view is hidden in the board icon right here. So depending on like what you want to visualize, we will normally shuffle the board by different criteria right here. So again, I can rearrange the board into like status or priority assignees and other stuff. And it will help us visualize on how many and see how many tasks are under each categories. So these are the quick and basic walkthrough of Quire's Quire marketing team and how we use this project to help us like streamline our workflow. And so right now, if you have any questions, you can let us know in the chat. So if there aren't any questions for us right now, we'll move on to our next, our key takeaways for today. So bring you back to our key takeaways. Again, we use our table view to help us break down our project into actionable tasks and see all the information in one view. And we use the sections to help us categorize the different tasks into blocks. And we also add custom fields for like additional information to our tasks. And then last, we use the sublist again to manage different tasks and see how and help us like create a more focused view. And we use the board view to help us visualize the task progress and adjust the members' workflow. So here are all the things that we talked about for today. So this concludes that what I have prepared for today's webinar. Right now, I will save a little bit of time for your questions. So if you have any questions, you can let us know in the chat. Or if I'm missing something, or if you're curious about anything inside Quire, you can let us know in the chat, and I will try my best to answer them right now. So okay. Okay, so I see a question. Can you again show how to create a sublist? Okay, I will show you right now. I'll go back to the lists, our Quire workspace. So for now, I will change back to the list view just for this example. Okay, I will clear out the filter that I just applied. Okay, just click the wrong thing. Okay, right now, okay, so how to create a sublist. You can find this icon, add icon right here. Just click on it to create a new sublist. Give it a name, and then you can choose who you want to share with. So there, I didn't go into details, but actually you can share it with the project members or yourself, or like external teams. So for now on the screen, you see copywriters. This is actually an external team that I created for this project, but you can name it whatever you like. So after you just choose these options, you can go ahead and choose what you want to add inside that sublist. So this is the first way. And another way is, again, to drag and drop the whole, like the task that you want to add to that sublist, and just drag it into that icon right here, and then give it a name again, go through all these steps, and then add create. Okay. So I hope that I answered your question. So I see another question is how to show the sprint wise details in board view. So I'm not sure what this means, but if you want to right now, okay, I'll change to a board view. If you want to see more details in the board, you can actually go into the detail panel like this, or you can use the space bar. Just press the space bar and the detail panel will pop up. So I'm not sure if this answered your question, but if not, please let me know in the chat again. So right now, I think I hope that I answered the questions, but if not, you can still let us know in the chat. But for now, I will move on to my presentation. So actually, I prepared some questions that were like brought up a lot by other users. So some users were asking us like, what is the quicker way to hide all the custom fields in the table view? Okay, so this is actually pretty simple. You can just go into the table view and click on header, and you'll find all the options to hide fields in one click. I'm just sharing these questions just to like give you some insights on like about how other users are using Quire. So for this, a lot of users ask us like if is there a way to see some of the details without going to the detail panel. So for example, you can see that I wasn't like opening up the detail panel, but is there a way to see more details right here? Yes, there is. You can click, you can use the keyboard shortcuts, the I key, or if you're using Mac, you can press Option. And when you do that, you will see more like breadcrumbs on the top of your task name, and also the numbers or icons right here. So you will know without going into the detail panel whether there is a comment or there is like a description added to that task. So this is handy if you don't like to open up the detail panel and taking up all the space in your Quire workspace. Okay. So another questions that we get a lot is that some users are working with their clients, and sometimes their clients will not be adding their comments or update to the project, and they're wondering like if there is a way to still share their project so with their clients without them signing up for a Quire account, so they can still be able to see and know the progress of their project. And so yes, there is. There is a hidden like permission in Quire, which can allow you to share your project with with like clients who didn't sign up for a Quire account. We call this the share link, and you can find it in the project options. So you can click on the down arrow next to the project name at the top, and then go into more and share. So when you click on that, it will create a share link for you, and you can copy that link and paste it to for your clients. You can also set an expiry date. So when that date expires, the people with the link won't able to access that share link, that project anymore. So this is another way to control like people outside of your team to see what is going on in your project. Okay, so for another question we get a lot, which is that what is the best way to reach out to Quire support team? So you can click on the question mark icon at the top next to the add button. There is a message feature function right here. When you do that, you will reach out to the Quire team, and we will like try our best to message back to you as soon as possible. And or you can also send us an email at feedback@quire.io. So another question that we get a lot for our new users is that they were looking for templates when they want to like first set up their project. So yes, we do have some like sample projects prepared. I will be sending them out after this webinar to you in the email later on. We made these sample projects so you can see like some popular use cases in Quire. And if you have any like special use case you want to share with us or share with other users, you can also like share with us through feedback@quire.io. So I think that is the end for our question and Q&A. But if you have any if you still have any questions for us, you can still let us know in the chat. I'll go through the chat one more time and see if we are missing anything. So I think, let me check one more time. I think uh, I think that I answered the questions and Vicky helped me answer all the questions that you might have. If you still have any questions, you can still let us know. But here on the screen, you can see that we have also prepared some additional learning resources you can find online on your own. We have a public Quire feedback forum. You can go there and try to look for other questions that are mentioned by other users or ask your questions there. Also, we have our tutorial pages, our blogs, and our guides. So our guide is pretty like comprehensive. If you don't find anything that you're looking for, you can still reach out to us through email or the message feature that I just mentioned. Okay, so this is the end for today's webinar. Thank you again for joining us. Again, please help us, give us feedback on today's webinar by filling out our survey. Vicky here will help me paste the link in the chat right now. It will take 3 minutes, just help us, and I hope that your reply can help us improve our next webinar. And also, if you have any questions about our pricing plans, you can go to our pricing page, or if you want to reach out to our sales team, we have a contact form that you can do that as well. And if you have any questions left that you cannot think of right now, it's okay. You can reach out to us through our email, which is feedback@quire.io. Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining us, and I think I'll see you next time. Thank you.